In November 2011, my guest and I, we met at the Palembang Airport, Indonesia, after the 26 SEA Games. He and the team won the bronze medal. In 2015, he competed in the 28 SEA Games hosted by Singapore. He and the team secured the bronze medal again. In 2019, while preparing for the 16th World Championship in Czech Republic and the 30th SEA Games in Philippines, the team encountered many challenges and obstacles along the way. Sharing his experience, how he and the team managed to overcome these adversities and went on to create history in their sports after we roll out the intro.
Closing in, I was alone and so afraid, couldn't see the light.
My guest today, he has been involved with the national team since 2004. He has been to 3 SEA Games and 1 championship. Throughout his career, he has won 2 bronzes and 1 gold medal. He is happily retired now, so please let's welcome my guest for today, Ivan. Hi, Ivan.
Hello.
All right.
Good
To see you. To begin with, would you like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Ivan. I'm actually 31, going on 32 this year. Been playing softball for more than 20 years now. That's 2 decades, and actually, been playing since secondary school only. And then I had the opportunity of joining the national team in 2004 as a national youth team player.
Okay.
Great journey. I think been to, like you said, 3 SEA Games now and 1 World Championships. So it's been really fortunate, for me to have taken this journey and highlighting, I think, the retirement, right? I think they always say end on a high. So I think having completed the SEA Games goal, I think it's good to end on the baton, yeah.
And most important, right? You beat the favorite team on their home soil. That is actually quite a feat.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right. To begin with, right? Would you like to share how actually you started your softball kind of journey?
Well, I think I graduated from Raffles Institution.
Oh, okay.
So I was lucky to be in a system where you kind of get to try different sports. My class ended up having 6 softballers in the class.
Oh, really?
So I think 6 out of like 38 people. Thankfully, joined the sport, and I must put this story out as well because having joined the sport, a lot of us were like, why softball? And a lot of us wanted to join. Like for myself, I wanted to play basketball because I like basketball.
Okay.
Others wanted to play tennis, sailing, but our teacher in charge back then, Mrs. Nadan, she was like, oh, if you want to, join another CCA, you are to write a 2-page essay and explain why you want to join other CCA. And having did that, she actually told us that you should keep the letters for now, you have to stay with the CCA for 3 months first. So yeah, that's how it started.
Kind of being conned or threatened into it.
Yeah, I guess a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, but that's a decision that you never regret, I would say.
Yeah. I think never turn back. There are times commitment is questioned, right? Because of we train 3-4 times a week. On your individual skill level, and then you come together as a team to work as well. Okay,
so that's how your softball journey started in RI, and then never looked back then. So, when was your first involvement with a national side? You were saying 2004, right? Whereby you start off with the youth team. What was the experience, or when you first know that you have been selected to be part of the team?
So I think the backdrop to this is that in 2004, a couple of coaches approached us to, you know, they informed us that there was going to be a selection trials for
Okay.
what we have now, the under 19 men's Asian qualifiers and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was only the second or third series that was organized, and it was to be held in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh,
I think
okay.
that's one reason why my dad was quite supportive. You know, it's like regional,
Alright.
you don't have to travel too far, you know, it doesn't take up too much time and studies, right? So
Alright.
a couple of us and my friends, we signed up for trials, and you know, we got in. So we trained really hard for it, and it was really, I think, that sort of excitement level that really brought me onto this journey, because in that tournament I think we played extremely well. We faced the likes of Philippines, Indonesia,
Alright.
we had of course Malaysia and the stronghold Japanese.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Alright.
Japan actually played in that tournament, and I think in that tournament the Singapore team excelled and played really well. Back then I think, of course, I was only like Sec 4 going JC1. And the experience, why I said it's really fun, because when we faced Japan in the round robin, I still recall like we got mercy rule like 10-0.
Alright.
But when we reached the finals, when we played them again, we were actually leading them.
Japan.
Yeah, we were actually leading Japan 4-1, and until, you know, some guy hit a 3-run home run, tied the
Wow.
game, and we eventually lost out 6-4.
Wow, that's very close.
Yeah, that's really close. I think probably the closest fight we've had with the Japanese side.
Alright.
And we even triple played them, you know.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we actually started off the game with a triple play against
Wow.
them, and that was really memorable.
Then, thereafter, you will be part of the senior team since when?
So I think after being in the youth team, then you kind of, you know, get selected and promoted to the men's side. Unfortunate that I couldn't, you know, be part of the selection in 2007, because I was in serving NS.
Okay.
And I think I only returned to the team after I finished my after I ORD. So
Okay.
back in 2009, I think
Alright,
my
yeah.
first outing as a senior player was to Brunei. There was a tournament there.
Oh yeah, 2-0.
Yeah. So that was one of the first tournaments I participated as a men's national team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I would say that, I mean, in the beginning of the video, right? I mean, as I said, you have been to 3 SEA Games.
Yeah.
That would be 2000.
So SEA Games was in 2011.
2011.
2015.
2015.
2011 was in Palembang.
Yeah, correct,
Indonesia.
Palembang, yeah.
2015 in Singapore.
Okay.
And then last one,
okay,
2019.
2019,
Yeah.
that is the Philippines.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so these are the 3 SEA Games, all right? And again, what will be the kind of experience you actually benefited from playing in these so-called regional games?
I think the benefit, well, I will just not point to myself, right? Because I think the benefit has been seen throughout the softball fraternity in Singapore by so many players going overseas to play. I think we probably kind of started it off with for at least for the men's side, it was Jeron. Him coming onto the scene in 2015 SEA Games as a 15-year-old.
Yes, correct.
That was amazing. But I think the benefit of regional tournaments, I think it really brought us back to level ground that, we may think we are among the best in Singapore because we are already in the national team.
Yeah, right.
But when you go out and compete, you realize that, oh wow, the standard is that vast and different. So I think I could really feel that when we were in 2011 and even in 2015, right? We worked really hard, in Singapore, but we lacked the expertise or the management level to know how to level up our game, to keep playing overseas tournaments, to be up there with the best in order to make sure that we are always catching up. So I think with more tournaments being played overseas, you got to see in the region, how other players do different things.
Coming back, right? I mean, in 2019, in the beginning of the video, I did mention that, while preparing for the 60 World Championship in Czech Republic and the 30th SEA Games in Philippines, you guys actually encountered many obstacles, challenges along the way. Some of viewers may not know, the softballers, they are all, I would say, part-timers. All right, either they are students or working adults. So this is the a bit of background of the team, right?
I think the systemic problem in this is that we don't have a professional league in this.
Yeah.
unlike be it Taiwan, Japan, people can play for a career, right? I
Yeah.
think we have not reached sporting development until that level where you can play for a club and be paid to play.
Yeah.
That is unfortunately not the genre or the focus for Singapore sports or even Singapore softball, right? And knowing that from day one, joining the sport, you kind of know that every time you want to prepare for a tournament, before that you need fundraisers.
Yeah.
So money is always the talk, right? Because with no money you don't travel, right?
Yeah.
So I think like even before 2015, I think 2015 being I would say is a huge landmark for me because being played in Singapore, we actually set ourselves back like a good 3 years to just prepare for 2015. I think the association did well in trying to get funding and all these, and they redid up the whole softball Kallang Diamonds.
Oh yes, that was one of the best that we ever witnessed, I would say.
Yeah, and I think the whole revamp was amazing. I think you kind of seen the transition when they prepare for SEA Games and kind of know like where this direction of the sport was going for. And then we look at how all these are really coming from the sponsors, from donations,
Right.
and of course a lot of the trips were self-funded and I would say co-funded by the players, right? So and of course One Team Singapore Fund came in to subsidize a lot of these, but like I said again, right, when you're traveling with a team, it's really a budget.
It's a good.
And in 2018 that was quite a landmark victory for us at the Asian Men's Championships, because that was actually the first time in a long while, I think a good 20 years that that we beat the Indonesians. And that was held in Indonesia, right? So it kind of made it like a story in itself that we beat Indonesia in Indonesia, and then we're like, okay, now Philippines in SEA Games, we want to beat Philippines. So we kind of have a knack of doing that, and we enjoyed it. And we secured a bronze medal at the Asian Championships behind Japan and Philippines. So we know what was the gap between us and Philippines at the time, and then of course coming in bronze, we know that we qualified for the World Championships in 2019.
So I mean, the lead up in preparation for the 2019 that year itself is one full year, because you need to prepare for the World Championship in Czech Republic. I think it's in June, right? And then subsequently December is the in Philippines.
That's right.
So unfortunately something happened, right? The land that he used to train. That one was being taken back by the Singapore Land Authority.
So I think the transition was we moved out of the place, and of course I think the whole softball community was upset because I mean, there you are, you built a very nice place in 2015 SEA Games,
correct.
But unfortunately I think that's a prime land. Us and cricket as well, we have to move out. I think us moving to Farrer Park, we had to struggle because it was only one playable field to be shared among baseball men, softball women, and softball men. And not forgetting that softball men and women, we have our junior teams. So that was time management, and of course a lot of the hard work goes out to my men's team, because we really kind of like resurface the field a bit, we weed out the field and all these, right? Because there just wasn't a lot of money to go and repair, go and flatten the ground and all these.
So you guys have to really go onto the pitch, literally on the ground.
And interestingly, I think it was Mothership who did that article about us, weeding out our problems or whatnot, right? Because we could just dedicate like 2 hours after training, just be farmers for the day. Make sure that with that we have good playing grounds for the next training or whatever it is, right? And it's really all about like making use of whatever resources that we had. That was really the top of our mind.
I mean, in the end of the day, it's about how to move forward. All right. Okay. As I said, right, you guys are part-timers. You have your family, you have your work, and you have the softball to so-called to die for. So how you guys actually balance, to find so much energy, right? As you said, it takes about 7 days a week, and you train 7 days a week or 6 days a week.
I think when you talk to a softballer, I think one strong attribute you will find in him or her is that they have really good time management skills.
Oh, right.
And that's definitely going on their CV or their interview every time they go for a job interview, right? Because you really have to juggle.
So, like say for you, right? How is the schedule like in the day for you?
I wake up at about, I would say about 7 o'clock, leave house 7:30, 7:45 to get to Raffles Place. And then you work, you probably end work at about 7 p.m. We start training from 7 thereabouts to about 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
And then you head home, and sometimes like you know, you just grab a bite before training, right? Because you need the energy. But a lot of times you spend you know, just rushing down to training, and then after training maybe you just try to re-energize yourself with the snacks, or like maybe sometimes supper and whatnot. Then you restart the next day. For weekend trainings, it's always something that you love hate, right? Because you have all the exciting things that are happening. You're playing games, you're sparring, you're doing pitch batting. But then again, you have the sun and the rain, and then the long hours, and having to wake up even earlier, because sometimes our training starts as early as like 7:30. You gotta be there. So that means for a lot of people who don't drive, they have to leave house at least a good 6:30, right? So that stretches out the day.
In perhaps we want to share a bit more about the 2019 16 World Championship that was held in Czech Republic. How was that experience?
First and foremost, 2019 was a really packed year for the men's softball team. We know what we were working for, the 2019 SEA Games, but we lined up a lot of trips, right? Going to Indonesia, going to well, we went to Australia for 2 weeks training camp. We know that there's a pit stop going to World Championships. Of course, we didn't really have a goal in mind, a target, you know, what placing to achieve, because it's just a wow, like it's a first for everyone. And then of course, I think we gathered that, you know, we wanted 1 or 2 more trips in between before the SEA Games. And the experience was wonderful, right? Because when we went to countries like Australia and Japan, you know, they are top 4, top 3 of the world consistently. You saw the standard of play that they are at. And when you go to World Championships where there were 16 teams, and it was a wonderful format, right? Like we had 8 teams on each side, meaning that you minimally get 7 games in the round robin, and then you have a final placing game. World Championships, it was something that the 17 of us plus the coaches and managers, we had the time of our life, because it was at the world level. You get to see the highest form of softball. Even if you didn't get to play with some of the teams on the other group, you got to watch their matches. And that trip was kind of the defining moment for us, because we ended up beating South Africa. And then we ended up beating Philippines the first time. So I think with that victory, we came home to Singapore knowing that, you know, we are actually better than Philippines, or we can be better with 6 months to go in the SEA Games. So I think like from the World Championships all the way lead up to SEA Games, right? We were very conscious. I mean, like you said, right, it's a confidence booster, right? Because we beat Philippines once, and we want to do it again. But between these 2 gaps, right, we were not going to face each other. We know that they are definitely going to work very, very hard to win back in home ground. But at the same time, we know that, you know, we are at least matching with them now, with whatever arsenal that we have in hand, and like we know that, you know, we need the next 6 months to make sure that we are improving much faster than the rate they are working harder. Head up for SEA Games, there were a lot of moments that we had, and I think it's been well covered by a lot of the news articles and whatnot in our journey. But you know, this team of 17 final players, right, that made it there, I think we were really backed up, like I said, with family, friends and all these. But I think at the back of it, the different part about this team that went up to SEA Games was that in our group of about 23 players, those that got dropped along the way continued to help the team. You know, be it to come down for training and all these, and it was really for the benefit of thinking that, you know, Ivan got selected ahead of me because he's better. I wish him the best. I want to help him make sure that, you know, Singapore wins. A very healthy competition kind of environment. So I think that really helped boost the whole team's spirit going up there. The team that went up to SEA Games 2019, the average age was about 22.8, if my Excel sheet says me right. But we had players like Huzaifa, was 17, 18, Aloysius, you know, who actually took a gap year in JC1, and then we had Reynard as well, who's an up and coming pitcher who was doing his poly as well, and then I think they were like the really young ones that we kind of had. And we kind of forgot how Jerron was also their age group because he's been in the game for so long.
Yeah, correct.
Right, that you're like, oh my god, Jerron actually only 20, 21, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, how old do you think I am, kind of thing. And the rest of the group, they were a lot of made up between the uni year ones, some maybe, you know, just starting uni and whatnot. So we had a really young bunch of players going up. One good deed that I did for the team really was to, you know, knowing we'd be playing the stronghold of Philippines, myself and the team manager, we decided to, you know, reach out to the friends and family members, the loved ones of the players, right, to actually write a letter to the players, and for them to open up the night before our final games. So that was I think something that was I would say a memorable deed for me that I did for the team.
I would say you ended your softball journey on the high. I mean that is something where we would love to, right? Especially in the sporting career, right? After what, how many years? Almost 20 years, right?
Playing 20 years.
Almost 20 years, and then I'm sure that. Okay, I mean, before I let you off, right, for the day, is there any word of encouragement to all the young aspiring softballers that?
I think softball is an amazing sport to pick up in a city like Singapore. Even though the sport is not as well known, it has a lot of benefits, right? And because of the nature of the game, another dynamism of softball is that there's also the team element, because you play in a team of like 17 players. Your lineup only consists of 9 players. You know, you need to know when to pass on the baton. You know, you need to know when to play the role of a bench player. When to support them, when to come in just to run bases for them, and all these elements about, like, you know, supporting each other, and we talk to each other. So I think the skill set developed in softball was a lot of communication, a lot of teamwork. So I think that is really the beauty of the game that you know you strive to achieve lah. The coaches are doing an excellent job in developing the youth lah. So I think the focus really is for them to, you know, start building a lot of these team elements, but you all come together to play the game. So you have to learn how to fit in with each other, and learn each other's strengths and weaknesses.
Good.
All
right. So thank you, Ivan.
No worries.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers. Bye bye.
Bye.
Ivan's message to the young aspiring softball players is about team element. Besides the technical skills competency of individual, coming as a team, working as a team, progressing as a team, and performing as a team is equally essential. Psychologist Bruce Tuckman model for nurturing a team to peak performance consisted of 4 phases. They are forming, storming, norming, and performing. This is exactly what the team went through in end 2018 and early 2019. The team have to revamp themselves with many young, dedicated, talented, and hardworking players. With the guidance from the coaches and the more experienced players in the team, they went on to beat the defending champion in their home soil and create history in their sports by securing the gold medals. For viewers who wanted to know more about Tuckman's model, I'll be sharing the link on the description box below. So much to today's episode. Cheers and bye for now.